Historic Salem, Massachusetts is known for its culture, diversity, and influences. Embedded in this city is a well-known section known as the McIntire District. It consists of houses and public buildings on Federal, Essex, Chestnut, Broad, and Flint Street, and many of the connecting streets, all designed and influenced by a man named Samuel McIntire. McIntire was born in 1757 on 31 Summer Street in Salem. He started his career as one of the finest Federalist woodcarvers until he expanded his career to designing homes for the wealthy. The forces that were ruling over Salem at this time gave him the inspiration and the funding to bring something new to America. McIntire brought diversity to the architecture of Salem, using the wealth of the time and his inspirations from European architectural styles. The residents were first-generation Americans who were influenced by cultures around the world while trying to make their own footprint in this new country. These Americans still had the English ideas pressing heavily upon them. They had come into money through the new trading markets with Europe and the East Indies. Because of this new wealth and world competition, residents of Salem desired to spend their money to make statements of their wealth and good taste. The economic, political, and artistic freedoms enabled them to experiment with new forms of expression and make a name for themselves. Samuel McIntire started his career in 1780 thanks to America's first millionaire, Elias Haskett Derby, who hired him to build and remodel a series of family houses. From then on, McIntire taught himself the Palladian style of homes, a style that originated in Venice and migrated to England in the 1700s. After 1797, McIntire studied under Boston architect Charles Bulfinch, learning more about the neoclassical European influences that had evolved from ancient Greece and Rome. At the same time, he developed a mastery of wood carving, bringing his unique style to his homes and to fine American homes. His favorite symbol was a sheaf of wheat, which he found to symbolize prosperity in the 1800s. The architecture before McIntire was the Federalist style, which was a simple and stately design. Europe was more focused on the regal trimmings and extra parts of the house, whereas America's architectural style was very simplistic. McIntire was especially intrigued by the Greek and Roman home styles, especially after observing Bulfinch's work. He wanted to bring as much of that to America as possible. In his early projects, for example the Coningsmith Assembly House, he focused on remodeling the facade in the strongly Italian style of columns and pilasters. His first major commission, the Derby Mansion, displayed McIntire's true love for the Greek designs in the exterior, where he added many pillars and urns, while also adding neoclassical touches on the inside. A normality of the time was for the merchants to fund such projects because they had a lot of money from trade. The Georgian-style architecture came from the south and is very grand with entrances, porches, and big windows. Different clients among the wealthy have their own preferences, so that's what led them to hire an architect and pay so much money to design them the most beautiful home. The British neoclassical style is a more relaxed style. It is very European but simpler in design. The Piers Nickel House is an example of a Georgian style with some neoclassical touches. As wealthy people came to Samuel McIntire for his work, they spent a lot of money for his talents. They then shared their knowledge of him and more came back to McIntire, furthering his boundaries as an influential architect. Driving McIntire's creations were a diverse set of Salem forces. The first being money, which enabled him to show off his architectural experiments and draw on the power and influence of the well-to-do. The second force being popularity and class of his clients, to give McIntire the endorsements to gain widespread respect. It was the wealth that enabled Samuel McIntire to create these integrated architectural forms, and it was these forms that kept the wealthy coming back to him. As wonderful and beautiful as McIntire's work and the area he created is, very few know about it. It is because of this that his home on Summer Street was demolished in the late 1950s and turned into a Salem industrial building. Had people been aware of the significance of the house, it most likely wouldn't have been torn down. It's important that people know of this beautiful area because it explains so much about who the Essex County is. Salem as we know it today has a combination of colonial and modern architecture. This has been made possible by Samuel McIntire in the late 1700s. He thrived off the spontaneity of the Salem residents at the time who were so caught up in the revenue and the new world that they longed to be the trendsetters of the era. Even then it seemed to be all about appearances, so starting with the outside they wanted new and different architecture. They called upon McIntire, who brought his intellect and creativity to give them what they wanted and more. The Salem residents' money was plentiful, and so McIntire had many opportunities to combine his favorite styles, European and American. To this day, the McIntire district is still the top place to live, showing that because of the first chance McIntire ever got to share his design, he has created a timeless place.